Teachers. Hot damn, were they tougher when we were kids. I swear. Teachers today, they don't seem to have any balls. Well, then again, with everything that's going on, who knows? Nobody has balls anymore. Teachers. Is it me, or were they a hell of a lot tougher when we were kids? The Gen X generation under teachers, we did not get out of line. You mouthed off, you got the book thrown at you. And I don't mean the rules sent to the office and all that. You literally got the book thrown at you. And not them little book or the paperback that they were maybe reading that day, but we're talking the teacher's edition hardcover, where that outside cover seemed to be like a half an inch thick with 200 pages in between. You know, it was the size of the top of your desk to begin with, and they threw that at you, and it looked like Mount Everest coming at your head. That was getting the book when you got out of line in school when you were a Gen X kid. That or I just went to a really tough school. Here's teachers were tougher. They didn't put up with no shit. But then at the same time, the teacher would whoop your ass if you got out of line. And back then, they would whoop your ass with your parents' blessing. That was understood. You went to school, you got out of trouble. That teacher didn't yank you ass by the ear out the door, down the hallway into the office. Then they picked you and your desk up and tossed you out the frickin' door. Or they didn't care at all and they made you drag your own desk out the door, even though sometimes you might have been 6 years old and that desk was 10 times bigger than you and seemed like you were pushing a car all by yourself. And they'd make you drag it, and then you'd get in trouble for the noise it made dragging across the floor because you're disturbing the other students. Because they were a hell of a lot tougher. They didn't put up with our bullshit. They never did. You would get it. I mean, I've seen teachers get slapped across the face. I did. In fact, I had a teacher one time in the lunch cafeteria when I was 14, slammed me up against the wall and full on decked me twice. And I had it coming. I never made a complaint. They came and talked about it after and said, the teacher's like, I'll get in a lot of trouble if you lodge a complaint. And I said, I got no reason to lodge a complaint because I went in the cafeteria, I fucked around, and I found out because that was the way things were when you were growing up as a Gen X child. Teachers did not put up with a bullshit. Now, I've seen some weaker teachers when I was there. They'd have a mental breakdown or, man, did we torture substitutes? Come on, everybody, you know that. Our goal, especially the Gen X generation, was to make that substitute in one day have a complete mental breakdown and not come back, because we were all hoping that that's when they would, our teachers out for 2 more days, that all they would do would send a TA into the class to wheel in the TV, and we'd spend all day watching videos instead of doing any work because we broke the substitute. And even if you managed to break the substitute, that never happened, because what then? You always wound up with the principal. If not the principal, the vice principal, whichever one of them had the biggest mean streak, because they weren't going to put up with our shit. And they know who we all were. The principal would know. 500, 700 students, the teachers then and the principals then knew every single kid's name, their class schedules, what room they're supposed to be in. And let's get into like teachers outside at recess. They weren't there so much to protect us and stop us from doing shit, as they were there just to witness the act so they could call the ambulance if needed, so we would survive whatever trauma we inflicted on ourselves and our friends. That's the way that was. It wasn't about making sure we were safe. It was just making sure that we survived whatever stupid shit we were going to do. Like the big metal pole that they would always have. Usually our school had a tire tower, right? With a metal pole. It was about 12 feet high, and then you'd step on, grab it, and do the fireman slide. Well, some of us decided to slide down that sucker head first. Well, you know what happens when you slide down a 12-foot pole head first on the concrete? Yeah, I don't either. None of us remember, because we hit our heads so freaking hard that we wound up getting all the way. Dumb shit to do, man. I've seen people fall off that tire wall that we had at our school. It was 12 feet, hit the ground, air knocked out of him, can't breathe. And the teacher just yelling, get up. And the idea wasn't it was a dangerous playground or dangerous toy. It was, if it's too dangerous for you, then leave it the fuck alone. Don't go on it. If you're going to get hurt, you can't play with the other kids. Not that they were going to make everything softer for you, because nobody cared about your feelings. You had to learn to be tough because the world was a mean place. Teachers, when we were in school, were brutal. We didn't take any crap from anybody. Of course, we all had nasty nicknames for our teachers. Some of them I won't say because I probably can't say them on here. I would love to. At some point, I probably will at another time. But I want to know, how many of you had a teacher, that one teacher that at the time you knew not to fuck around with and you thought they were mean? Now you're like, nah, they were just raising me proper, making sure that I'd be tough and responsible for myself, even at school. I mean, schools weren't allowed to allow students to fight. Every school, elementary and high school, had an area with an outbuilding where they knew if you walked off to, that's where you were going to fight. And they never came around the back of there to stop it. They allowed it to take place because they knew. They taught us to settle things our own way because the teachers were tougher. And the teachers didn't put up with shit. And the teachers did not have the time to get involved in every little school hallway or school playground dispute that took place. Unless somebody was actually crying, bleeding, or broken bones, we were pretty much left to our own devices when we did our dumb shit, because nobody really gave a crap one way or the other. So that's that for now. I have nothing more to say on this topic with the teachers. But let me know. Comment down below and let me know how many of you had them tough teachers, ones that didn't dick around, ones that dished out discipline like they carried the righteous sword of God. And then not only that, then you got it again when you got home because you forced the teacher to discipline you. And then you got a second whooping at home. Anyway, let me know. Comment below. Share your best, don't fuck with teacher moment. And I'll be back. I'm packing up right now. Not to work. Got to go build them cabins. Got to make money and pay bills. But I'm going to keep posting. This is Drac saying I'll talk to you later. Peace out, everybody.